Hi, Kathy White, Certified Professional Ergonomist. Today we're going to talk about another aspect of psychosocial risk factors in the workplace. This is part 3 of a 3-part series on this topic. Again, a refresher of what we mean when we're talking about psychosocial risk factors. We're talking about the emotional value that can cause physical or psychological damage to your health, typically arising from some of the demands that are placed on your work. We have talked about work demands. Those are things like hours worked or work rest cycles. Could also touch a bit on workplace culture as well as management style. We've also talked about job control. Factors that contribute in that arena can be things like lack of job clarity, conflicting demands, not being involved in the decision-making process, or insecurity about your job. Today, we're going to talk about that third factor in the psychosocial risk factor umbrella, and that is around social support at work. Having that social support at work can help you feel like you belong, and it can actually help address some of those other risk factors that I just outlined with the other 2 arenas that we've described in those previous videos. Feeling that support can really help go a long way. So what are some tips that you can try to use, whether you are dealing with that social support, trying to get it yourself as an individual, or you're assessing somebody and trying to understand how much support they're getting in their workplace? First question is really, what is the environment that this individual is working in? Are they in a remote environment? That can be extremely challenging for somebody to feel connectivity. And since the pandemic era, there are more people who are working from home. It's really important to check in with those folks and ask them, how do they get that connectivity to their work group? How do they get their connectivity to their leader? Are they being clearly communicated with? Do they feel like they're really a part of the team? And if they're struggling with that in that remote environment, you have to get really creative with some potential solutions, because a lot of that will have to occur virtually. Having team meetings like coffee chats built into a schedule, having that individual schedule one-on-one meetings called coffee chats with certain individuals can help as well. They really have to take some additional effort and network outside of their day-to-day duties, because typically working from home, it's very easy for your calendar to get filled with a lot of meetings, and you don't really have that opportunity for quote-unquote water cooler chats. Your workplace simply isn't designed for that, so you have to take the effort to design it yourself. Those are usually the most challenging circumstances when you're trying to build that social support. Another thing that people may struggle with is their communication. Interpersonal effectiveness is something a lot of us can work on. And how good are people at communicating to their work group, whether they're remote or not remote, having those moments and those opportunities to connect with others. Leaders can benefit sometimes from asking their direct reports on a regular basis, how are you doing? Is there anything that I can do to help you? Questions like that can help open the door for that communication, and it can help give an individual that sense of belonging. And then finally, there could be issues in terms of conflict between individuals within the same natural work group. And that can be very difficult for people to try to navigate. It can definitely lead to stress in the workplace, and how to work through that. And there's coaching that can be done at an individual level. It might be a situation where a leader needs to be involved, but really trying to get to the root cause of why is there this conflict? Is it a difference in personality, a difference in style? And if so, what can we do to align to a common purpose and understanding to produce that harmonious relationship of working together? It doesn't mean that you have to be friends outside of work, but what can we do in the hours that we're in the workplace to be able to achieve a desired result that we should both be aligned to? It results in needing to have a lot of conversations, definitely some challenges, but certainly it can be very worthwhile, not only for the benefit of the organization, but also for the individuals who are involved. Certainly, we want to retain our workforce, and we don't want people leaving because they feel like they don't have support. And these are some examples of ways to help try to build some of that support system in place to make people really feel like they belong, like they're a part of the organization, and also that their work is meaningful. Hopefully these tips helped you. This closes out our series on psychosocial risk factors. Stay tuned for more communications coming in the future, likely segueing us back to some of the physical risk factors that we see from an ergonomics perspective in the work environment.